Our usual 2 minutes. Just. You're live. Good morning. Okay, this is if you've never had coffee with us before, this is where we adjust a little bit because we don't have any fancy cameras or equipment and the sun is right in our face. My face, anyways. Whoa, the future's so bright.
I'll probably have this eye closed a little bit, so I'll be like,
Oh, bless. But we normally. Oh, wait, is that better? You get to see my whole messy kitchen. I've been up cooking this morning, so everything's a mess. But anyways, good morning. If you're just, can I say our spiel yet every time? Wait, give me a sip of coffee.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you're here right now, I apologize. This is our 1 minute of prep stuff that we do before we go live at 8 because we don't have any pre-screen or fancy equipment or anything like that. We're really bright. Woo! Yeah! So if you're just joining us for the first time, I apologize. You'll get used to it if you ever come back. Is that worse?
No, I
Look at you. There you go.
Nice little.
You got a rainbow. Okay, good morning. Anyways, my name is Amber.
I'm Tim.
And we are 2 of the 5+ Bradshaw family members. And I say plus because since we moved here, Ashlyn and Gavin, our son Gavin got married to Ashlyn. What the haystack is that? Hang on, my computer's doing all wonky things. And we moved from the beach in South Carolina, off-grid here in the mountains of East Tennessee, where we live with our daughter Lyndon, and our daughter Morgan lives in Knoxville. Our son Gavin lives here with his wife off-grid, and my mother just moved here. So we have 3 generations of our family living here on our off-grid homestead. And we just have these coffee chats to catch up, talk with friends and family, and go over everything crazy in the world. Speaking of crazy, why won't this go away?
I don't know, but it's 39 degrees and sun.
I don't know. I didn't click on it to make it open up. Wait, 39?
Oh, that's what it says.
Where's the thermometer? Oh, the wind blew it off. We had a hellacious windstorm this week. It was crazy. I don't know.
Hellacious.
Hellacious.
Oh, she said.
Hellacious.
Michelle,
good morning, sister. Michelle, y'all have crazy pollen. M&M. Yeah, crazy pollen. I've never seen anything like it. I still follow Ed Piotrowski in Myrtle Beach, and the pollen pictures are insane. We're sitting here. My nose got stuffed just looking at the pictures.
Yeah, it was green.
It was really green, yellow. Lime green. It was horrible. Y'all probably just completely covered in yellow right now.
We've never seen anything like that in all my years.
It's crazy.
And I'm from over there, the beach.
Georgetown County, South Carolina.
Well, I don't brag about Georgetown, but
there's a lot of history in Georgetown.
Well, there is a lot of history, but as I was growing up, all I heard was
the beach.
I gotta get out of here.
That's what he said when I met him, so I took him to Tennessee.
Everyone, I went to Winyall High School, and everyone lived at the beach. So everyone in Georgetown wanted to go to the beach. So it was, yeah.
You went there often.
Everybody wanted to get out of there.
And we'll get to our topic in just a minute, but I remember when we started dating, and the first thing he said is, I want to move to Pawleys Island. So I bought a house in Pawleys Island. I'm like, come on.
Yeah, that was
26 years ago. This month, actually.
Yeah, that was
26 years ago this month.
Wow.
Wow, we should have like an anniversary or something.
It was a stepping stone.
But goodness gracious. So let's go over our week. It's been, well, for those of you that are in our private group on Facebook in Mighty Network, thank you for praying for the baby go. It didn't make it. He was half the size of his siblings, and I knew it was going to be a miracle. And not that God isn't in the miracle business, he is, but I just, you do what you can until you can't. And he wasn't struggling or anything, and he wasn't gasping for air. He didn't look like his quality of life wasn't good. I just wanted to give him a chance at life, and he didn't make it. So, but we have 2 healthy baby goats, Nigerian dwarfs. They're cute. They're tiny. one male and one female, and another doe ready to kid any day now.
Mm-hmm.
What else do we do this week? Seems like we're always busy. We don't
well,
have idle time.
We've had little things that we've been doing, putting some sheetrock up and
working
on our bedroom, but the weather's been
crazy.
Yeah, the wind.
Well, they had a high recorded wind not too far from us in the Smoky Mountains of 95 miles per hour.
A lot of rain.
Heavy rain and winds.
Yeah, our creeks are.
We got flooded out. Yeah, the roads were closed.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. We have more extremes here in Tennessee than I've ever experienced with living in Southern California, Michigan, South Carolina, at the coast. More extremes here in Tennessee, right in the middle of the state. I mean, right in the middle of the United States. It's crazy. It's extremes, too.
Yeah.
It's never just, light breezy, afternoon. You got extremes. Extreme flooding, extreme snow, extreme rain, extreme, ice.
Yeah.
All of it. You got to be prepared. They definitely test the prepper in us. But it's good. We're getting used to it now. Like, for instance, we were expecting, my friend Sherry keeps sending me the weather updates, which I just absolutely adore. And as soon as I get the message from her, I'm like, Tammy, batten down the hatches. I call my mom, don't plan on leaving and going anywhere. Or I text her because I can't call. But
yeah, we definitely keep our trampoline tied down.
Yeah.
Because I've seen trampolines around here and they're warped and they're leaning up beside houses.
Wrapped around a house or a tree. Our friend Danny, she's in Georgia right now. They had part of that bad storm we did. And she shared her trampoline, her kid's trampoline is wrapped around a tree. And half her roof is missing. And that's sad. I feel bad for them. And they still don't have power. I think it's been 3 days now. Another friend of ours, Amanda, they said they had major roof damage. So they're not anything to mess with. And it definitely test where your weak links are in your prep.
Yeah, and things around your property, it will take flight. I mean, if you
turn ordinary objects into weapons.
Yeah. So
Michelle, you've seen that down in South Carolina, where after a hurricane or hurricane force winds, they showed pine needles going through 2x4s like nails. Yeah, they turn into weapons. You think it's that's just a piece of plastic or that's just a piece of wood or something. It'll kill you around here. Everything will kill you around here. But you don't even know the topic that I picked to talk about today.
No, I do not. Here we go.
So you ready? I wanted to talk about how we're starving.
We're starving?
Yeah. I mean, clearly I'm starving. I look like I've never missed a meal.
Okay.
Do you get it?
We're starving.
As a nation, as a community, as a family.
Yeah, I kind of figured there was something underlying there.
There's a lot underlying there.
I'm going to sneeze on that one.
You got to sneeze. God bless you. Woo.
Y'all hear that?
Well, the topics come up a lot, about the standard American diet, sad. Standard American diet, sad, because it is sad. There's no... this has been on my heart and on my mind since we've been talking about health a lot. And speaking of health, y'all, please continue to keep my brother in your prayers. He's 40, younger brother, and heart attack this week. And for not taking care of himself. And I was telling my mom and dad, I said, and they're like, huh? I'm like, you first, Dad, you're listening, Mom. Dad, that's when I was talking to you on the phone yesterday and we got cut off. That's what I was saying. And I was sitting here going, if you want your kids to grow up reading the Bible, let them see you read the Bible. If you want your kids to be, serving the community and serve others and volunteer, let them see you do that. I mean, that's the best way to teach them. And even though we're older kids, we're still learning and we never stop learning. The same thing with taking care of yourself. If you want your children to take care of themselves, feed them healthy food, first of all, when they're growing up, but let them see you live a healthy life. That's the best testimony you can give, not just to your children, but really to anybody. That's why I don't talk a lot about health. I wish I did. I know a lot about it, and that's the downfall. That is my one thing that I've got to work at. I'm like, who am I to teach about health? I'm not sitting here overweight. I got health issues. No one should take advice from me because I wouldn't. I don't follow my own advice. But it doesn't mean I don't know better. And so yeah, please continue to keep my brother in your prayers that he a they get his heart rate, blood pressure taken care of, and B that he decides like we all need to decide to take health in our own hands. And I was talking to my doctor. I had a follow up this week for my blood pressure because I can't seem to get it under control. And we've been at this for over a year now with them. And I was, it's not just, it's, some diseases or sicknesses and all that are hereditary. Even when I was thin, which I was at a time, I still have blood pressure issues. And even when I was eating very healthy, I still have blood pressure issues. It just hasn't really ever, normal out. Anyway, so I was telling my doctor, she's a doctor that I just adore, that I can sit there and tell them I'm not going to take that. Don't ask me. She respects that. And matter of fact, I was even talking to her about acupuncture, and she goes, "I need to try that." Like she goes, "Nothing else has worked. I needed to try that." So she's really open. But I said I need to start taking my health into my own hands. And she goes, "Do you know how refreshing that is to hear? Because everybody wants a pill."
Yeah, I mean that's true. I mean it's the quick fix.
It is everybody. Well, we want that instant gratification.
And I mean I'd like to comment on your as we're starving.
Hmm.
I'm not trying to point the finger at anybody, but it seems like today it is so hard to make the right choices because there's so many bad ones out there. You've got
Well, someone shared a picture. It's a meme of a grocery store, and it's pretty much every single aisle, and it's processed
yeah,
food.
yeah,
And they said this isn't food; these are fillers. It's like we're filled, but we're not full with the stuff that we eat. You can't go anywhere and get a nutritious meal. And it's because, I mean, I was reading another report. It gave me a list of all the things that insects can be qualified as or labeled as your food. So look for those things now because they're trying to want to start to remove us from natural proteins that we're accustomed to, meat and dairy and stuff, and replace it with insects. That's not a conspiracy theory. That's the truth, y'all. And do your own research, dig into that. But anyways, the list was all the different words, kind of like monosodium glutamate or high fructose corn syrup. How they can have all these other little words that's
yeah,
the same thing. Same thing, just for insects though. Now in your food to look for that. And that's the thing is there we're starving in so many different levels, but we're starving for nutrients. And even produce and stuff that you grow now doesn't have the same nutrients that it did from the people that grew it 100 plus years ago because the soil lacks the biodiversity that it needs to provide the proper nutrients to our food. So even if you grow your own, which is better,
yeah,
it's the soil is lacking.
yeah,
Joel Salatin has a huge long series about that as well. About he's studied soil for decades now and how it used to be at least your rich humus soil used to be at least 3 feet deep, and now it's just like inches. Because we're
yeah.
depleting the nutrients from our soil.
Yeah, it's definitely harder now to eat
Eat
healthy
healthy.
and find the healthy food. So
Even if you eat a salad, the salad dressing's crap. If you look at the back of your ingredients of your salad dressing, wowza.
yeah,
And that's the thing is, we're filled, but we're not full, and we're not full of nutrition and nutrients that we need to function
yeah.
and fight disease. Good.
And I mean, there's a lot of us, we think we're eating healthy, and I think mentally it might feel like we're eating healthy, but we're really not. And it just seems today it's harder and harder to really find really good nutrient.
Well, because
Food.
you're right, it is harder because we also still want that quick, instant gratification, that instant satisfaction. We don't want to have to go shopping all over town to buy the ingredients for a meal. We want to go to one store, get home, start prepping it, and be done.
And it takes a lot to put a good meal together.
Well, I cook from scratch. But my scratch meals have processed food in them. Just like the other day, I made chicken pot pie, and we get the I bought canned chicken soup, which is loaded with MSG and everything else in it. And then I had shredded cheese from the store, the orange stuff. Cheese isn't orange, just in case you didn't know. It doesn't. Cows don't have orange milk, and that's why I had to do it. And it was the shredded cheese because I was that lazy. I didn't want to shred my own. So on top of that, they coat the shred. What are you chewing on? A plastic spoon? Go away. Where did you get this?
Off the floor.
I don't even know where she got it. Our dog. And the shredded cheese is coated with an anti-caking agent, so the cheese doesn't stick together. I mean, and that's just a small example of it. But I made it from scratch, and it was delicious. Well, was it good for us? Probably not. It filled our bellies, but it didn't make us full. What?
No, I mean it was delicious.
It was
I
good.
really enjoyed it, and it's
But now if you break it down, you're like, ew, what did I just feed my family?
yeah.
And we do it. I mean, we're always like, well, I'm too busy. I'm too busy. I'm too busy. When are we going to decide that being fed with nutrients for our health is worth our time? When are we going to make that decision? I'm looking at Timmy like he cooks our meals, but it's
hard,
on me.
and I mean I'm the grill guy. I cook on the grill, and
We share responsibility, but it does take both of us because it has to be both of us not craving that crap. But there's more, than just the nation that needs to be fed. You sit there and you just look at sickness and disease at the incline in the last 40, 50 years, and it's not population incline, it's sickness and disease. Matter of fact, population is at a decline right now because of the lack of births, lack of people having babies, lack of people able to have babies or even wanting to have babies. Right now, the death toll last year in China was larger than the birth rate, and that's the first time it's happened in a coon's age. It's been forever. But anyhow, if you look at the sickness incline and the health decline, you have to put the two and two together. It's like, what's changed? You have your environmental impacts, your outside environment, from stress at work to, peer pressure to bullying to smog to pollution. But you also mainly have your impact of all the food that you eat and how that affects you.
Don't forget the free radicals.
You remember some of your training. The free radicals that cause us cell damage.
That's right.
So, but anyhow, I was thinking about that, and it's like, I told you we don't do doom and gloom last week without talking about, solution. And it's like, okay, let's powwow about this. How do we get from a starving family in a starving community in a starving nation to being fed and being full with nutrition and good things? How do we get that back? How do we get away from the sad diet?
Well, I mean, the only one I can think of is, a lot of times people are faced with, I guess, life-threatening conditions, getting sick, and
Like my brother.
yeah, and it,
When you're laying on a hospital bed and you're 42 years old, and the doctors are telling you had a heart attack and you need to make some drastic changes, that wakes you up. It wakes your family up. I remember when they told me I had cancer, they're like, I just had a baby. And I was like, me and Timmy, man, our life went upside down. We're like, no plastic, no chemicals, no this, no that. And then I said, why does it take an emergency to make a change? But you can apply that to your spiritual life too.
oh yeah.
When you're down, when you're the lowest, when you have lost everything, your hope, that's when a lot of people find God. Is when they're desperate. They're desperate for a change. And I think too, on that same thing, we're starving as a family, we're starving as a community, we're starving as a nation. It's just not a belly full, it's a soul full. And God promises, when you're hungry, to go to him and eat. When you're thirsty, go to him and drink. He is our spiritual food. And we're starving as a nation. We need to be fed. And if you're going to one of those churches that are just what our preachers say, just tickle in your ears,
Yeah.
if they're just tickling your ears, where happy thoughts all the time, where you're constantly feeling good and you're never feeling convicted, you're going to the wrong church. You're not being fed.
Yeah, you've got to be you've got to be uncomfortable when you hear,
To make a change.
yeah. I mean,
That's a good one.
you've got to want to hear the word and
all of it, even the stuff that makes you
Yeah.
uncomfortable. Because that's a good preacher. That's somebody who's delivering the message. If you go to church and you feel uncomfortable from time to time and the Spirit's convicting you,
yeah,
you're being fed. You're getting fed. And that's what we need. And I have talked to so many fellow believers that say they have they're not in a church. They quit going during COVID or what have you when everybody did the shutdowns, and they haven't found a new one. And if that's if that's y'all, you need to find a church. We are not supposed to cease assembling, even if it is a gathering of people at somebody's house. There's church, but don't cease to assemble, because we need each other. We need each other to pray for each other. We need each other to commune with each other. We need each other to feed each other spiritually off the Word of God. You need that community, even if it's just here for coffee with us in the morning. But you really do need to find a church. And there's so many out there. You just keep going until you find one that's preaching the Word.
Yeah, I mean, and also we need to hold each other accountable. I mean,
that's a biggie. Your spouse should do that. But if you don't have a spouse, and if you don't have a spouse of faith, then your church brothers and sisters need to be doing that. I look at Timmy all the time and hopefully he knows that I won't get mad when I ask. I'll ask him a lot. Did I do the wrong thing? Did I say the wrong thing? Should I have not done that? And I expect him to give me an honest answer without being concerned if I'm going to get mad. Do you?
Mm-mm.
You don't give me an honest answer?
Oh yeah, I always give it. Yeah.
What?
I'm so used to saying no, honey. I didn't do that. Yeah.
Good gravy. Yeah. No. So yeah, I mean, we need to be fed on so many levels. But I'll tell you what. Back to this food connection and giving good nutrition. Do you know most people don't know how to cook a nutritious meal? When we had the outreach in South Carolina, we had farmers market, a home delivery one, and our mission was to feed those in need, regardless of their financial status, nutritious organic produce. And there were several homes where I would take them all of this amazing, heirloom, just different variety stuff that they've never seen before. Fresh. I mean, we didn't give them old stuff. We gave them stuff that was just picked 2 days before. The top of the line stuff that I was selling to my clients went to those in outreach. And if you've ever been a part of outreach, you understand what I'm saying by the difference between fresh and what they're used to getting. And I would take it to them and I would tell them what each one is. And I would give them a recipe. That was one of our things. Especially if I had a new product, I would give them a recipe to go with it. And leave it, and then I'd go the next week with my next box, and there would be the first box there sitting on the counter just full of the stuff, and it would just break my heart. I'm like, why did you take it if you didn't want to? They're like, well, I don't know how to cook it. I'm like, but I give you a recipe, and they're just looking at me like, a deer in the headlight face. And that's the sad part. We don't teach that anymore. So pretty much anybody 40 and below, they're not taught that in schools anymore. Their families don't do it anymore because, our generation grew up with microwaves were invented.
Yeah.
Fast food chains became everywhere. Fast everything. Fast instant gratification nation. And so nobody, unless you learn from your great-grands, really, you don't know how to cook from scratch or eat nutritious food.
Well, I mean, I didn't know what, back in the day, I didn't know what nutrition was. I just thought, we having a ham and a pot of beans and rice. That was it.
And that's the sad part. But, and I think because, y'all, Satan comes to adulterate everything. He comes to taint everything. that God has provided for us, including our food. And what better way to keep us sick and down is to rob our food of nutrients. And we got to. That's not a conspiracy theory. That's a real fact. And we gotta. And then the ingredients that we're eating are feeding the bad diseases that we are encountering. Like sugar feeds cancer cells. It thrives off of sugar. And guess what? Sugar is in everything, and sugar is really addictive. So, I mean, when they said it's like has a 8 times more addictive than cocaine or something like that.
Well, there
Don't
you
quote
go.
me on that, but I know I was reading a study about that, and I'm horrible with remembering. But have you ever remember when we used to have just a really clean diet?
Yes, I do.
Do you remember how you felt mentally? Did you have clarity, or were you still foggy headed?
I was able to do a lot more than I was able to function mentally better, and understanding and knowing all of my tasks that I had to do, because I was working. Had
Oh gosh, yes.
20 clients, and it was going from house to house, and
then coming home and doing things.
yeah, it was. I mean, it was amazing. Just the healthy diet, and exercising. It
I shared a study about that when you just said that. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but it was with rats, and it was recent, and I'll see if I can find it and put it in the comments. It's going to take me a while to dig because I can't remember how long ago I shared it. But it was a study with rats, which they use a lot for testing things for humans, and it
actually,
was
we're the rats now.
truth. Truth. There's some truth right there on
Yeah,
Sunday
they don't
morning.
need the rats anymore.
So, anyways, after feeding them the standard American processed diet, after a certain amount of time, and I want to say it could either been 3 months or 3 weeks. I'm not quite sure which one it was. They lost the sense of fear. Like they could no longer sense fear, or react to it. They became very lazy. They lost the drive to do things, and I was like, it desensitized them. It made them like little robots. And I'm like, wow, eating our food. That's the effect that it had on them. I'm like, well, that makes a lot of darn sense because they want just people that are compliant, that are gonna, go through the little maze that they set in front of them. They don't want anybody to think or do for themselves. They want them all foggy headed.
Well, they ate and they said, well, I'm just going to take a nap. Here comes the cat. Woo!
No, they didn't react. It didn't react to danger. And I was like, wow, that makes a lot of sense if you think about it, And so anyways, going back to the solutions, we don't have them. So just in case you were wondering, this is one of those times that we converse back and forth. We don't have the answers. I do know for us personally, we are doing what we can to be spiritually fed. We have our Bible time in the morning that we talk to each other about scripture. I've got a prayer partner that I meet with every single day. We go to church twice a week. For us, that's what we need for us, because we know we need that church community and support. We get it. We've been without it, and it's not a good place for us to be. And second is, we're trying to grow and produce as much of our own food, but we need to get away from the processed stuff. We need to get back to what they call it. It's a Bible-based diet, and it's not a diet. It's not like, it's not like the keto diet. It's not like Weight Watchers diet. It's not like Simplast diet. It's eating whole, nutritious food. And it just to clarify with that, it's not eating the Old Testament way either, because I believe in Jesus Christ as our Lord and Savior, and He settled that old covenant, and He said He provides everything for us for food. So I'm going with Him. But
except for the stuff that comes in a box.
Yeah, that's why He didn't provide for us. He didn't provide for us, Pop-Tarts and mac and cheese and, the processed mac and cheese. He gave us flour to make our own noodles and cow to do our own milk. But He didn't do, Jello pudding and oh my gosh, stovetop stuffing and all that stuff. No. So that's where I feel our family needs to get back
I mean,
to.
and the younger generations coming up today, all they know is the fast food and the box food and everything, because they, I think a lot of them were taught
No.
Just healthy home cooking.
Well, when Gavin and Morgan were growing up, we didn't do nothing but processed food for them. SpaghettiOs, raviolis.
Yeah.
What was it? Little kids' frozen dinners. We used to feed them all the time.
But I mean, yeah, and then things happen,
Juice boxes.
and then you say, well, I'm going on a health kick, and we're gonna,
Now we didn't call it a health kick. We wanted to change it.
Well, yeah, it was a change, but it's
and we
healthy.
Stayed with it until we moved here. And when we started living in the hotel while we're looking for land, that's when it all went downhill.
It did. Yeah.
I'm not even going to tell you how much weight I gained since I moved here.
I don't even want to talk about it.
But I will say this, the difference, and I know the difference because I can feel it. I don't have clarity of mind. I'm achy all the time, like I have fibromyalgia. Matter of fact, when I was in South Carolina, the doctor told me I had that. Because, you can't touch my skin. It feels like I'm getting the flu every day. And I never, catch the flu. It's just how I feel achy every day. And I know when I eat a healthy, clean diet, that's not there. Steve, good morning, brother. Processed food is addictive. It is. And we were talking about that with the sugars and everything to it. And this is what kills me. Someone very close to my life, and I'm not going to call her out. When I say something to her about eating junk, and I'm no person to judge, but I'm just like, hey, you have cancer, you have this, you shouldn't do that. It's my treat, I deserve it. I don't do drugs, I don't do alcohol, I don't do blah, blah, blah. This is my treat. I deserve to treat myself. And I'm like, I remember Drew Carey years ago when he lost all that weight when he was the host of, and he might still be, I can't remember, Price is Right. I don't know if he's still the host, but when he lost like 100 plus pounds, and he used to do marathons. And after a marathon, he would treat himself with a pizza, a whole pizza, because he just did a marathon. He did real good. He goes, it finally dawned on him that pizza wasn't a reward. It was a punishment. Treating yourself isn't a treat. It's a toxic. It's a poison. And you deserve nutrition. You deserve a healthy life. You deserve to feel good. If we could just get away from that stuff, really remove it from our diet. What's so funny? What are you doing?
Oh no, I'm right there with you.
And the thing is, he doesn't make a change. I wish he would make. He's skinny. He doesn't need to make a change for his weight, but he does need to make a change for his health. Yeah. And it would greatly support the other people in his life. Yeah.
It's affecting my mental.
It's affecting your energy.
Yeah, I can't remember how old I am now. I'm like, am I 58 or 57? Yeah, I think I'm 58. When you start asking yourself how old you are.
But I remember we were sitting at the table in Polly's Island, and I made a claim. I didn't make a promise. That's the difference. I said, I will never go back to eating the way we ate because I can't believe how good I feel right now. And I never want to feel that way again.
And here we are.
Yeah. But that doesn't mean, that's the great thing about still being alive is we can make changes.
From today on. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Tomorrow.
Or tomorrow.
Well, we're eating at church today.
Oh, man.
Of all things, we're eating at church today. And that's our daughter's birthday.
But we'll make good choices.
We'll make good choices.
We'll eat the tofu and the salad.
Don't mock me.
They don't even have tofu in Tennessee, do they?
No, I don't think so. But anyhow, you don't want to eat the extra soy anyway.
Oh, no.
So that's it. If y'all have any comments to add, and I'll look to see for that rat study. Steve, I know I posted it in Mighty Network. I don't know if you remember or not, but anyways, we got to get going. We've got, speaking of church, we made deviled eggs and a spaghetti cold salad, and then we've got Morgan's 22nd birthday. She's coming over and celebrating with us today.
Yes, we're taking deviled eggs to church.
Somebody said they needed to change the name of them, and I can't remember what they called them, like angel eggs or something.
Someone's got a hair in it.
That's not a hair. That's a piece of pickle relish. See the pickle relish? It's a string of pickle relish, and it's actually attached. Goofball. Let's fill up on deviled eggs before church and be farting the whole service. But anyhow, y'all, we have this coffee with y'all to converse and share thoughts and feelings. So please pour them in. You know, if this is something that you are like, you know what? If the Holy Spirit's pressing on your heart to start living a healthier life, and because we're supposed to be the temple, um, give a comment. Let's get together. Let's do this together. I'm not saying, oh, we're going to go on a diet. We just need to change our way of living so we can have health, wellness, clarity,
Yeah.
Clear mind, more energy. What's bad about that? Anything?
And maybe you are, living a healthy life, and I mean that's great.
Share tips,
Yeah,
share recipes, share inspiration.
pass it on, inspirate somebody else.
Absolutely. But we gotta go do the animals, get ready for church, leave, prep for Morgan's birthday and all that good stuff. So we will see y'all later.
Thanks for putting up with us.
Bye.